I think I've got everything going now. Yep. Thanks, bye. Welcome, game fans. Randy Ingersoll here on the Mind Sports Olympiad live stream. Little technical difficulties with this old guy trying to figure out this new software, but I think we've got everything going. So I believe we're up and running. And we'll be broadcasting the Hive, Classic Hive tournament this afternoon. As you can see, we have the Mind Sports Olympiad. This is an old piece of Greek pottery with Achilles and Ajax playing a board game from centuries ago. That's the logo for the Mind Sports Olympiad. So we're going to close that down, get our Board Game Arena page up here. And let's take a look here. I am going to take a brief second. Hopefully we are going out to the Mind Sports Olympiad Facebook page and to the Twitch account at VGA. We've got 3 rounds finished. Up to date here. We don't have 3 rounds finished. We have a game or 2 in the 3rd round yet to play. So we're going to pick one of these games and go into it. What we're doing this afternoon is Classic Hive. As we get one of these games going, we'll start describing to you that are not familiar with Hive what the Hive game is all about. So we're going to pick this game right here. Let's open it up and we'll see how it's going. Hive is a 2-player abstract game with no random elements whatsoever. What we've got is the basic game, which is called Hive Classic, which we're playing here. There's 11 bugs on each side. The bugs are represented by these hexagonal tiles. The hexagonal tiles have special movement, and the goal is to surround your opponent's queen. And here on Board Game Arena, if we hover over it, we can see the white queen is under the black beetle here, and the black queen is under the black beetle there. And we've got quite a group of spectators in this game. As you can see, they are both overtime, and so here at Board Game Arena, it's going to probably go for just, except for the fact that black is about ready to win. So, oh, that's not true. Okay. So it is very tight here. So let's take a quick look. The basic movement for the bugs in Hive. The queen is the center of the attention in the hive. You have to surround your opponent's queen in order to win. You can surround it with bugs of either side. The queen can move 1 space at a time. The beetle also moves 1 space at a time, but as you can see, the black beetle climbed up on the white queen. Beetles have the ability of actually climbing atop other pieces as well. Black ants move around the outside of the hive. They can move, they're unlimited in their movement as they slide from spot to spot, and the spider can move 3 spaces. This game was abandoned because the players didn't manage to finish it before the start of the next tournament. So let's see who it gave the win to. It gave the win to Coda Neon, because Coda Neon had more time, or in this case, less negative time left. That's the way it works here on Board Game Arena during a tournament. So we'll go back to here, refresh this page, and then we'll be starting the 4th round. This is an 8-round Swiss system tournament, and of course it's part of the Mind Sports Olympiad. The Mind Sports Olympiad is a gaming event that's been going on since 1997. The goal of the Mind Sports Olympiad is to pick the greatest board game player in the world. And of course, they do that. One of the ways they do it is with the Pentamind competition. Pentamind, you can play in as many games as you want. Your top 5 scores added together to determine who is the Pentamind champion. And if we take a brief moment here, we can actually hold this up right here, and we can see here's a list of the Pentamind champions from the last, all the way back to 1997. As you can see, the last 10 years, Ankush Kandwal, James Heppel, and Andres Kuusk have done extremely well. Ankush has won the last 3 in a row. So the big question, of course, is going to be, will he win his 4th in a row? None of the top players are playing in Hive, however, so we've got none of the top Pentamind players are playing in Hive. But we have a couple of the top Hive players in the world playing. 3-time world champion Quadlibet is playing in this tournament. He actually finished 4th in the Hive Classic tournament last year. And currently he's undefeated. So let's go into his game. He's playing Ted the Naughty Bear in round 4. So we will open that link in a new tab, and we will go in and see how Quadlibet and Ted the Naughty Bear are doing. This is Hive Classic, which has no expansions. John Yanni designed Hive a little over 20 years ago, and over the years he's added 3 expansions, which have added quite a bit to the game. In fact, the 2021 Hive Online World Championship is going on right now, and it uses all 3 expansions. So this is quite interesting to have Hive Classic in the tournament here at Mind Sports Olympiad. And as you can see, the ants are the most powerful piece. They have the most mobility. This white ant, for example, can move anywhere around the hive. It cannot, however, fit into this spot or that spot. There's one of the 2 main rules of Hive is the one Hive rule. You notice all the pieces are interconnected, and at all times during the game, the pieces have to stay connected. That's the one Hive rule. And that sets up scenarios where, for example, the white ant moved over adjacent to the black spider. Now the black spider is immobilized. Eucalyx is online, so I am going to see if I can get him an invitation. So bear with me 1 second. I am going to find my email. Scoot that over here. I just got a note from Eton that it is working good. That's a good thing. And I am going to send a message over to Christian with a link, and hopefully he'll be joining us here very shortly. I just sent a link to Christian Sperling, who plays under the name Eucalyx. He's a previous world champion. He was my mentor when I first started playing over 10 years ago. In fact, he's a mentor for a lot of players around the world. So we'll be getting his expert opinions as well here very shortly. I'll keep an eye on my email to make sure he got that email. Let me respond to him here on BGA and tell him email login. So thanks, Christian, for joining. He's all the way around the world in Australia, so it's real early tomorrow morning for him. So what we've got here is A very typical opening formation. Both players open with grasshoppers. Grasshoppers can jump a straight line over a string of bugs to the first available spot. Of course, right currently, both of these grasshoppers are pinned. The one hive rule will not allow either one of them to be moved. Beetles are very powerful because even though they're slow moving, they can climb atop the hive. If the beetle climbs atop the hive, it can go over and cover the black queen. So let's talk for a minute on how bugs come into the hive. Bugs are placed in the hive or spawned into the hive by coming from the reserve. They can come into the game in any spot as long as it only touches their own color. So, for example, the black beetle just came in adjacent to black grasshopper. It could not have come in here or here. If the white beetle is allowed to climb atop the black queen, then as far as placement purposes go, that stack of bugs takes the color of the top bug in the stack. So if the white beetle were to climb atop the black queen, then a white bug could spawn in this spot currently occupied by the white beetle. So that's part of the strength of the beetles. So Quadlibet has a strong attack going with 4 of the 6 kill spots covered. So it will be interesting to see. And one of the interesting things about Hive is, I like to use the term, surrounding your opponent's queen is not the goal in Hive, that's just how you win. You'll quite often see some of the better players not concentrating on directly surrounding the queen early, but concentrating on controlling the outside of the hive. So, for example, this white ant up here is controlling both the black spider and the black ant. Black grasshopper comes in with an angle of attack to this spot. And so Quadlibet has a very strong attack going. And as you can see, the ELO ratings, Quadlibet is one of the highest ELO rated Hive players in the world with a 980 ELO rating, as compared to Ted the Naughty Bear has a 651, which in itself is a very good rating. These are 2 of the top players on Board Game Arena. And the ELO ratings at BGA are not centered around 1500 as they are in chess. So 980 is about as high as you're going to see. You might see someone climb up to 1000 occasionally, but 980 shows Quadlibet is one of the best players in the world. Like I mentioned earlier, 3-time world champion. So no doubt Ted is considering his defensive options. Note if the white grasshopper is allowed to attack to here, this black grasshopper is pinned by the friendly black beetle. If, however, the black beetle were to move to this spot, then if the grasshopper attacks, the black grasshopper would then be free to move. So that's what Hive is all about, is keeping mobility for your bugs, controlling the mobility of your opponent's bugs, while you're both attempting to surround the opponent's queen. So let's see if Christian got his invite. See if he got his. I think I've seen it for him. Let's take a look. So what Ted did was shift the ant over, pin the white grasshopper so it can't jump in. Let me ask Christian if he got the. Yes, but it does not work, so let's try again. And one of the basic maxims in Hive is rings are bad, except when they're good. A ring is a completing a circle, as White did here by spawning the white beetle here. Typically speaking, rings can be bad because it can free up a lot of bugs in the ring. In this case, however, the black grasshopper is self-pinned by the black beetle, so placing the white beetle there, now the white beetle will just climb up atop the hive. Of course, the threat is the black grasshopper to jump away. And as expected, the white beetle climbs up, leaves the black grasshopper pinned. You can see me looking over this direction. My main screen over is with my restream, which is being provided by the Mind Sports Olympiad. This is my first time using restream, so it's been a learning experience. Let's see. I'm going to do something here. I hope it doesn't. Well, you have to forgive me here. I am trying to figure out where Christian is. Right click. And of course now the white queen is going to attack and deliver the kill shot, take the win. So I am going to do this. Well, I was sure hoping I could get Christian in, but I can't seem to get him in. I don't know why. I was thinking that that link that I sent him would take him immediately into the restream. So I apologize for that. So let me reload this page and we'll see how round 4 is going. We still have a couple games in progress. So bear with me a minute. I am going to see if I can get Christian into the room with me. So let's come up here. Let's open another window. I think I might have figured it out. Let me ask Christian, are you at a screen that asks for your name and then has a join stream button? So hopefully we'll have Christian Sperling along with us here very shortly. Have to forgive me, I'm brand new, already past that. It's okay. Okay, now I understand the problem. No, you are in your own restream. Exit out and try to enter with the link. So while Christian's trying to get in, let's take a look at how things are going here. Let's scroll down and refresh this screen. We'll go to this game right here. This is Victor H1282 and Max Shark. Max Shark is one of the top players in the world. Dmitry Maximenkov from the Russian Federation. He was recently in the 2021 Hive Online World Championship. Made it to the round of 16, and we have Christian in the room. So let's see if I can figure out how to add him. If I click that button right there, we should have Christian.
Hi, good morning, Randy, or good evening, good night, whatever time it is at your place.
So welcome, Christian. This is Christian Sperling. He plays under the name Eucalyx. Has been playing Hive online for how long now, Christian?
Um, February 2008, so quite a long time.
And he's been in every Hive online world championship since 2008 and is a previous world champion and mentor to many, including me, which I appreciate all that you've done for me, Christian. You've been a huge help for me in my Hive journey. So,
Likewise, without you, I wouldn't be probably here as well. I mean, at least not at in my capacity as a co-host.
so what we've got going, Christian, here is we have Max Shark. You know Max, that's Dmitry Maximenkov, playing against Victor H1282. Max is playing black.
I'm playing on my tablet and it's quite small, so I'm trying to get my tablet a bit closer to my face, so then I can see also the screen a bit bigger. Okay, so Max Shark is playing black. Is that correct? Right,
So,
give me a
okay, so it looks
give me a
like
second to
Victor has run out of bugs. He only needs one more bug to win, but he does not have the availability to get that bug. So the question will be, does Max have the ability to fill 4 spots? And we will know that momentarily. And of course, one of the basic rules in Hive, the one Hive rule, I mentioned it earlier, that's what immobilizes a lot of these bugs, like the white queen here, this entire string of bugs here. They're all immobilized because the one Hive rule does not allow a bug to move if by moving it would break the hive into 2 pieces. So for example, the white ant moving to there now freed the black grasshopper. And so Max jumps the black grasshopper out, and now white is what we call shut out. Cannot make any legal moves. So black will be free to move and do whatever he wants, but the question will be, can he move in and get the bugs in place for victory?
Yeah, so my prediction is he definitely can, because with 2 free ends, he has really mobility superiority, and there is so much he can do. He can restructure the hive. He can force him to move bugs he doesn't want to move, like he just did now. Which means, oh, that's a strange move. I probably would have pinned. Um, the idea is to string white bugs out more and more to make it more efficient, so that Max can pin more white pieces with less of his own pieces. And yeah, he already resigned.
Well, he
Or
didn't
is it?
resign. What ended up happening was they were both in negative time, and so the way the
Uh,
BGA live tournament works is if you're both in negative time when the end of the round comes, it's a Swiss system tournament, the system automatically ends the game, and then the person with the least amount of time remaining loses. So in this case, Max, I believe Max would have, yeah, Max won because he was at minus 139, where Victor was at minus 226. So
yeah, I
that's
mean, he
one of the
was clearly
situations.
better. He would have gotten the win for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. So we'll go back to the refresh the screen, and the 5th round is starting. Interestingly, very early on, 2 of the top players, Quadlibet and Frasco, ended up paired off against one another, Quadlibet winning. Frasco is working his way back to the top. He's sitting in 3 out of 4. We have Indus and Mega Mal sitting at 3.5 apiece, and Quadlibet leading the way with 4 victories in 4 games. So let's go take a look at Quadlibet and Indus.
Yeah, it's probably an exciting match. Industas is quite a new player. I'm currently playing with him on Board Game Arena, and given that the little experience he has so far, he plays really great. And he has already a really profound understanding of the game. What he's lacking sometimes is, of course, all the little tricks and in long games, maybe how to exploit the situation properly. But we will see how that turns out here.
And of course, the game of Hive was designed by John Yanni. And if you read the story of how he came up with the game, many years ago, he saw a movie where two chess players met in the park. Each of them had half a board and half the pieces, and they would get together and play. And so he always thought about designing a game that was like chess but boardless, and so that's what he came up with. Is he started the game of Hive with square pieces, but very quickly adapted them into hexagonal pieces. In fact, the Facebook page and the Discord server are both called Hive, the boardless game. And so that's where he came up with the concept of the boardless game that we now know as Hive.
When we focus here on that game, it seems to be like a classic race. And the problem is, of course, that, or for Industas, that Quadlibet is one move ahead as a start player, which means if they just keep racing, Quadlibet will win.
And so that's many beginning Hive players will just look at this as just strictly a race and will think that white has the advantage, and they don't realize that there are some defensive tactics that you can use that can help defend and help slow your opponent down. So, for example, if Quadlibet were allowed to place a grasshopper in this spot right here, a good defensive spot, that grasshopper could at some point switch from this defending spot to that attacking spot once the queen is blocked in with a white piece here. So, of course, no doubt Industas is looking at, does he climb up, cover the black queen, and of course with the placement rules that would allow both of these spots to become spawn points for new black bugs.
It might be a little bit of a too early prediction, but I think from here on, Industas is already lost in classic Hive. He might just pin. Oh, he goes on top. Oh, hang on a second. Maybe I just miscounted. I haven't played Hive Basic without the Pillbug and all the other expansions for quite a while.
Yeah, most of the top players play with all the expansions. So let's do a quick quick count here, Christian.
2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 5 for black, but it's now white's turn. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So yeah, so the way Christian was counting this is because the black beetle is atop the white queen, this is a direct, what we call a direct drop, or a spawn point adjacent to the opposing queen. So black could spawn a bug here as 1, spawn a bug here is 2, bring another bug in is 3, move it to here is 4, and then the beetle would take the kill shot here, it would be 5. So let's count white.
Yeah, but it's because Quadlibet is the start player. He is 1 move ahead, which means he can win from here on in 3 moves.
Correct. He could place a bug, move it to there, and then the ant could take the kill shot. Once he places the bug and black then has to defend, then that changes everything completely. Correct, Christian?
Yeah, black has two good defenders, mainly the ants, and to a certain degree also the spider, which controls the spawn point near the white hopper. But since Quadlibet has still like 4 bugs in reserve, I doubt that he can defend. Only if he would bring them into a like very inconvenient spawn points where he would basically sabotage himself, then I would say Industas can stop him. But if he plays the new bugs in the right places, he will have enough free. Basically, he needs only one more to fill, and then any of the ants can fill the remaining spot. And if those are then consecutively blocked, or forced to be blocked, or forced to be pinned, then he will just rearrange or bring in another hopper, aiming on that last kill spot. And the good thing about the hoppers is that they can jump even in those enclosed spaces, the so-called gates, as we see one at the top of the screen, where we have the white ant pinning the black ant.
So what Christian is describing here is, if you notice, look at this space here to the lower right of the black queen. Notice how it's got wide open spaces. A bug can slide right into there with no question whatsoever. But up here, with the 2 bugs in this orientation, there's not enough physical room for a bug to slide in there. So this ant, for example, could not get into that spot. But once the white ant comes to here, then black will have to spend a tempo to pin this white ant, keeping it from taking the kill shot. Then a white grasshopper will come to here with an angle of attack to that spot. The other black ant would pin it, and then a white grasshopper to here, taking a 3rd angle of attack, and there's no way to stop that.
Okay, so as far as I can see it, now it's already decided. So the mistake Industas made is he didn't play a defensive move. Instead, he just kept on attacking, but
Exactly.
He's still like 1 move behind, which means now Quadlibet can move his ant on the lower left side and slide into that spot and threatens now to win. So then Industas uses his first ant to block it. Oh, okay, interesting. So he didn't pin the ant as I thought he would. Instead, he formed the ring, which frees the black grasshopper. That's a really neat trick. I like that. Unfortunately, okay, he repins. So, but this is what I thought happens now. So he needs to spend he has only 1 ant free, but the kill spot Quadlibet needs to fill can be attacked from 2 sides with hoppers.
Exactly.
From each to the left of the beetle and to the lower left of the other beetle at the bottom.
So what Christian is describing is, because grasshoppers jump over bugs, if a white grasshopper spawns in this point, it will have an angle of attack to that spot. If a white grasshopper spawns in this point, it'll have an angle of attack to that spot.
Exactly.
And black only has the one ant that can defend.
What he can do is he can bring in a second ant, as Industas can bring in a second ant next to his top ant, and that would basically control the spawn point to the left of the upper white beetle. Yes, and that's what he did.
Now, the other option, of course, is if the white beetle climbs up, the white beetle can climb up, creating a direct drop spot here. He's going to go ahead and force the black spider to pin the grasshopper. That's another tactic called a fill. Because the spider we didn't talk about how a spider moves. A spider moves exactly 3 spaces. If this were an ant, it could just shift the pin to here, but because a spider has to go exactly 3 spaces, by that ant coming around and providing a second connection to the hive for the spider, it frees that grasshopper, and that grasshopper will jump right in.
Yeah, from here on, there's nothing he can do,
No,
so the
it's
game
over.
is decided. I'm not really surprised, but that's exactly what happens if you have a play against a little bit less experienced player. Those things you only learn by experience. If you have hundreds and thousands of games under your belt, you have seen those situations. You know how those races end and how hard it will be to defend, especially in classic Hive, without the extensions, without a pillbug who could emergency rescue a queen and lift it out somewhere. And from that perspective, like I can see that Industas was not able to foresee like where would that go. He couldn't go down that rabbit hole far enough given the very limited time they both have. So he just needed to wing it and guess, while Quadlibet knew he would be able to make it somehow out of that situation as the start player.
Well, I can remember exactly the game that I was playing Christian when I learned about a fill, because I had not beaten him, and I had a situation where I was reasonably certain that I was going to at least get a draw, and Christian freed up a bug and jumped out, and then he beat me. So he has a pretty good record beating me over the years.
Yeah, that
And of
was
course,
back in 2009 or 2010. I think that's when we started to play with each other.
Right.
Or against each other.
And I made the mistake of clicking the wrong button a minute ago, so let me see if I can get back to it'll take me a minute here. I need to keep the main tournament page open. So let's scroll down and take a look. This is the 5th round of our 8-round tournament. We still have some in progress. Let's go see how Frasco's doing. So this is Frasco is Francesco Salerno. He's the administrator of both the Discord server and the Facebook page, both called Hive, the boardless game. So let's see what's going on here. I'm expecting that the white queen is under there, the black queen is under there. So of course, Frasco is threatening to win with the beetle taking the kill shot here. So this grasshopper is going to have to jump out. Once this grasshopper jumps out,
the black ant will just immediately refill that spot.
The black ant will just swing right around. So this game is essentially over.
Yeah. What's the move count? Is it like, how many moves did they play? It's so small on my screen, I can't really see it.
Well, let's go over here and change something. Change it to classic. It doesn't actually show the move count.
No, it's in the left upper corner. I can see it, but I can't read it because it's too small.
Where is it, Christian? Oh, all the way up there. Move 40. Yep. Oh, I never noticed that before.
The thing is, on a tablet, if you have it in vertical format, it's not available. But if you have it in horizontal format, then it shows that move count. I wish they would implement it in whatever position you have your tablet in, or mobile device for that matter.
So Frasco won this one, which kind of expected. So let's close that. Click refresh again and see what other 5th round matches are going. So through five games played, Quadlibet still leading. He's undefeated. Frasco and Rabaka are at 4 points apiece. Megamau and Indus, 3 Dusses, is at 3.5 points apiece. So let's go look at Glovir and Ted the Naughty Bear. Are they playing? Nope, Glovir is playing Akram. So we'll take that.
Yeah, Ted the Naughty Bear is also a relatively new player, but he's also already very strong. He beat me a couple of times, but I also beat him. It's always fun to play with him.
So if time were not an issue, this sure looks like it would become a draw, doesn't it, Christian?
Where's the Black Queen?
Let's take a look. I would guess it's right there. Nope. I guess it's right there then. There it is.
Yeah, so that changes, of course, the perception. Yeah, in the long run, probably, yeah, white is almost completely immobile. So that should be a win for black, but it's not a given because in basic Hive, it's much harder to force your opponent to move certain bugs if your opponent doesn't want to.
Well, particularly in this situation, both white beetles are atop the hive, so you can't immobilize the
that
two white
makes it
beetles.
even harder because it means it's harder to create a shutout or to squeeze your opponent, meaning to really immobilize all bugs and then force your opponent to move a bug. In this case, as long as one bug on top of the hive stays mobile, he can just go back and forth, and that just forces black to come up with another solution. If black needs more bugs than available to win.
So now I coined a new term, Christian. Did you hear my new term? An Oreo stack?
All right, I immediately got what you meant by it.
Because here we have an Oreo stack. White, black, white, black, white. Because now the white beetle is free to move, but once it moves, the black beetle underneath will then cover it and immobilize it.
But technically, wouldn't it be only an Oreo stack if it's black, black?
Technically, yes. Although I do think they have white Oreos nowadays. They've come up with a whole bunch of different kinds of Oreos. Now let's take a look at this. This black spider can go 1, 2, 3 and attack. Can this black spider get into attacking mode? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yes. So the two black spiders can get into kill spots.
And then an end, but it's still missing one bug. I don't think black can make it. It's like the
Oreo
spider
stack is one spot too far away.
Yeah, but even then, yeah, I mean, you're right. If it was closer, then it would be more likely, but still white could defend by having the second beetle on top of the hive. I think if one player wins here, if so, then it will be most likely black. White has to make a mistake. If they are playing both flawlessly now, I think there is no way black can win. It's a bit frustrating if you have a clear advantage, but there's just one bug missing. But that's how it is in Hive. And I just played a game against Judoka on Board Game Arena for the last few days, and I was clearly in a lost position, but I was fighting for a draw, and it went over 310 or 320 moves. He finally got me, but yeah, it was fun because there were always more complications I just threw at him, and he had to counter that, even though I was completely lost already after like 50 moves. But if it had been a game with time control, probably that would have been pretty frustrating, or we would have both run out of time. Here, of course, it's a bit different. If you have only like 5 or 10 minutes each. It's very hard to come up to think on your feet and come up with a quick solution how to force your opponent to unpin one of your bugs or do anything, something like that. So if you're in a drawish position with such short time controls, you are probably likely to get the draw.
And that's what happened in this game, is they agreed to a draw. So let's see, Glovir playing black offered the draw, and Akram82 playing white accepted it. Let's see where they are from. I don't recognize.
Yeah, because you don't want to risk that. If you are, let's say you are in a more advanced position than your opponent, but you are behind on time. So you don't want to risk that you lose the game, even though you could have a draw, but you would lose on time. So you rather take the draw as the player who could, under other circumstances, maybe somehow force a win.
Well, let's see how Ted the Naughty Bear is doing in this 5th round game. So the white queen is way up here on the top of the hive. So this is Sturek.
And that looks already, no, not, what's going on here? Okay. I see.
Does white have a method of getting that last spot filled?
Yes, he can. He can use his, is it white's turn? Then he can use the grasshopper and hop around. Next time he hops to the left, and then he's just hopping crisscross. That takes also a bit of experience to see that sequence, that you are not just thinking literally in a straight line, but in like a zigzag line.
In fact, that's one of the, in my book, that's one of the chapters is called the hop around. Because that grasshopper jumped from here to here, and then next turn will jump to this spot here, and then nothing can stop it from going into there. And if black perchance, of course the black ant is pinning the white ant, so that this black ant, if it releases the white ant will take the kill shot.
What's underneath the black beetle?
The white beetle.
Yeah. So if white wanted to prolong the game, then already in the previous turn, the black beetle could have just moved onto the white end, and then he would have had his black end free to pin that hopper. But of course, at the expense of letting the white beetle free, and from there, the white beetle only would need 3 moves anyway as well. So yeah, probably wouldn't have gained anything, maximum 1 additional move.
Oh, that was interesting. Oh yeah, Sturek won. Yeah. It would be very frustrating to be having a 1 position and lose on time. So let's do a refresh. We've got 5 rounds done. And the 6th round has been posted. So let's look at standings. Quadlibet is the only undefeated player. He's got 5 wins in 5 games played. Tess 777, Frasco, and Rebecca all have 4 points apiece, and then 4 players tied at 3.5 points apiece. Of course, the Mind Sports Olympiad gives out a gold, silver, and bronze. And I was talking to Frasco earlier. He is looking to try to win a medal. In last year's Hive Classic, Happy Kiwi, that's Patrick Berggren, won the gold. Fyodor Lewandowski, Sphinx, under the name Sphinx, won the silver, and Francisco won the bronze. So Frasco is looking to get that medal again, or so he'll have to hope that somebody can beat Quadlibet for him to get the gold. And just as a side, go ahead, Christian.
Do you know what happens when if two players are tied? How is it resolved? Is there like a system in place where you just compare who had to face the stronger opponents, or do they both get a silver or bronze medal then?
No, there is definitely a tie-break system. I don't know exactly what it is on Board Game Arena, but they use the tie-break from Board Game Arena. So while we're waiting to start round 6, we're going to talk a little bit about the Mind Sports Olympiad. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, the Mind Sports Olympiad started in 1997, so it's been going on. So this is almost 25 years now, and typically it's in-person gaming in London, but last year with the pandemic and this year with the pandemic, it's all online. And so most of the, if not all of the registration online, has not been a charge for it. So of course, if you want to support the Mind Sports Olympiad, there is a spot on their website. You can go to mindsportsolympiad.com, click on news, and then look for support. And of course, you cannot spell support without you. So the Mind Sports Olympiad needs you. If you'd like to make a small cash contribution or a large cash contribution, you can go to their website, find the support page, and you can do that. The Mind Sports Olympiad is looking to make it as easy as possible for anyone, anywhere in the world in this time of the pandemic can join and play. And so it will be continuing through the rest of this month with many, many games, card games like poker and bridge, some standard games like chess and checkers, all kinds of different variations, and of course, all leading to crowning the Pentamind champion for 2021. And just as a little side note, my screen here, this is a picture that Francesco took on his last vacation trip. This is a beach in Iceland, which is quite a bit different than the beaches here in Daytona Beach.
I really like the image. I mean, of course, the thing is in Iceland, the weather is not always as sunny as maybe in the Bahamas or somewhere, but that adds to the mood and the flair. And Iceland is so fascinating. I mean, I haven't been there. It's still a dream of mine to go there, being a photographer. And yeah, Iceland has everything from glaciers and volcanoes. And I think what we see here is one of those beaches with black sand. So it's all, I think it's, yeah, kind of volcanic. I don't know if it's soil or like, how do you say that? If the lava is already hardened, whatever
well,
it's called.
This looks like it's really sand, so it's probably just the lava that had been worn away into sand is what it looks like.
Yeah, something like that.
So I thought you would have, being a photographer, I thought you might appreciate this photo. When Francesco sent it to me, I thought that's.
If I would really nitpick, I would say like the horizon is not perfectly straight. It needs to be tilted like 1 or 2 degrees to the right clockwise.
And so what did you do, Christian? When I was publishing my book, you were my assistant and my helper, and he would nitpick, and I had to move pictures 1/1000th of an inch because he would blow them up to like 1600 times and look at them and they're not aligned up correctly. So yeah, I truly appreciate it,
Christian. I know I was really a pain in your rear, but I thought like, okay, it has to be as perfect as possible. Otherwise, if it doesn't look really professional, how can you then charge for it and people come back? And probably only 1% would have even noticed, if at all. But it was for me like, I have severe OCD. If I see something which is not completely in line or aligned or in a structure which makes sense, then it really ticks me off. And of course you were on the receiving end.
And I think that's one of the things that makes Christian such a good Hive player is that attention to detail and that able to concentrate on those little things.
Interestingly, if I play Hive, it's often I play more really off the cuff. I'm playing very intuitively. There are other players which really are more analysis focused. And maybe it's because of my vast experience that I just play more by intuition. And of course, I let my experience influence my moves, or my intuition is influenced by my experience. But yeah, I'm usually not the analytical player.
Wow, this was a very quick. Oh, that's round 5. Let's go to round 6. This one was very quick between Quadlibet and Rebecca. So let's take a look at it.
It's probably has been a race again, where the white players started racing, and then black just responded in kind. Let's see.
And of course, particularly with Classic Hive, grasshoppers are quite often used as starting bugs because you want a bug next to your queen that if things get surrounded, it can escape. Or if you start with a spider, for example, a lot of beginning players think that spider, because it's the weakest bug, you get it in play. But most of the top players will play, when playing Classic Hive, will open with a grasshopper.
If in doubt, play a grasshopper to start with. It's always a good idea. Even no matter which kind of variation, how many extensions you are adding to Hive, you can always play a grasshopper, and it's never a bad idea. There are other bugs you can also use, like the spider, but it's much more difficult, and you need to have much more knowledge to make it work if you use a spider as a starting point. Because mainly, as you said, Randy, because the spider later on could get trapped and can't escape, while a hopper can jump out.
And of course, one of the other rules in Hive is that you cannot move any bugs in the Hive until the queen is placed. So you'll quite often see top level players playing the queen as the second or third bug. And we are using the tournament rule. It's not an official Hive rule, but one of the tournaments that Christian was in back in 2008 ended up with a lot of draws because the two queens were right next to one another. And once the queens are next to one another, it's real easy for that last kill spot to surround both queens.
Yeah,
so we're using the tournament.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. 27 draws, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah. Actually, there were so many draws that they miscounted. And I think in the official result, they said it was 25 or 26. And then because one of the draws we played, we didn't create on boardspace.net the official tournament game. So you have to a tournament room, and which means later on people didn't know if we just played a friendly game or if it was counting as an official tournament game. So there was a lot of confusion. I think on one day we played 10 or 15 games. We didn't play it all in one session, those 27 games. Then each of us had at least one win, and then at the end, Arshong, I think he was a player from Hong Kong or Taiwan. He then just got the second point, I think, after altogether 31 or 32 games.
And so you'll see that now almost all tournaments now will use the tournament opening rule, which does not allow you to open with the queen.
Yeah, it got also a bit boring because we both knew how to play, and it's difficult to add variation and not to just repeat the game if you know how to force a draw. But after that, yes, then John Yanni had a good look at it and came up with the idea. Or actually, I don't know if it was his idea to not start with the queen. I think also many players, including me, just suggested it because we saw it as the weakness, which basically just breaks the game.
And so both players brought in ants. And of course, Quadlibet is playing white. Now, this is a very instructive move here because note how Quadlibet pins the black ant, but he pins it with an elbow pin because this elbow pin takes this spot here and removes it as a spawn point So black cannot get a second good defender in that spot right there. And then
on the other, there's also a benefit to pinning the end on the other side, because it would create what Joe calls a hex trap. Joe Schultz, who is the author of the book Canon Groundwork. No, how is Hive? The
Canon of Hive Groundwork.
You know how it's called. I always mix it up. What's the official title of Joe's book?
The Canon of Hive Groundwork.
Okay, there.
So he's coming out with 3 books. He's working on one on openings right now.
Yeah, so he calls it a hex trap. So if the white end would pin the black end on the other side, there would be basically like a almost closed ring of 5 bugs, which means if black fills later on a kill spot at the top right of the white queen, then it would complete the ring. But then with the complete ring, the white hopper could just jump out. In this case, it's not possible anymore because white anchored his hopper with a spider. And obeying to the one hive rule, it means you can't just split the hive in 2 pieces. And
so
yeah, so
black played a very early ring.
I like this game here because it's not only just a race, it's a lot of tactics going on. So it's more, both players play more a little bit for control and not going immediately for the kill spots. Exactly. And that's actually a smart idea because in Hive Classic you have 3 bugs less, which means each bug is more valuable because you still need 6 kill spots to fill around your opponent's queen. So if you have 3 bugs less, you can't just be so generous and place it somewhere and hope later on you just make it.
And here's a good example of a spider coming in. Joe calls this an ambiguous spider. It can move out to here to pin to replace the pin on the white ant, or it can attack into this spot here. So we'll see what Christian does to defend. He takes control by pinning the black spider. And Christian Galeas, who Quadlibet is one of the best at counting these complex situations. And it's over because with no bug available to pin this white ant, the white ant will move right in.
Yeah, I would say this is another game won mainly by experience.
Yes. Rebecca is a new player. I've never heard of him or her.
And you can use that, of course, as the more experienced player, you can use that to your advantage. If you know that your opponent has not like such a firm understanding or knows exactly who will be ahead, you can create such situations. So you can use it psychologically to your advantage.
So let's go down. We have 6 rounds that are going. We still have a couple playing. Let's take a look at how Francesco's doing against Kess 777.
It's always tempting, especially as a new player, to fill quickly the kill spots because you think like, hey, if I just defend, probably I will be behind. And then I won't make it in time. And even as an experienced player, there's always the fear of being too late. And it takes some experience to really trust that the game is balanced enough. So if you're doing a very proper and thorough job at defending, there will be a time when you can slow down your opponent and then slowly go on the counter or quickly counter. But it's kind of a scary thing to just let your opponent advance while you are just defending and not making progress with your kill spots yourself, or filling the kill spots around the opponent's queen. Have you explained already what a kill spot is, Randy, today?
I don't believe I have it. Of course, the goal in Hive is to surround your opponent's queen. That's how you win. And there are 6 spots around the queen. Those another term that's coined by Joe in his book as kill spots. So there are 6 kill spots that you have to fill around your opponent's queen. And filling the last one is taking the kill shot. So here, of course, black is in pretty good shape here because the black queen is underneath here. This black grasshopper can jump to here. So let's do a count. The black grasshopper jumps to there. The beetle goes 1. So black is three spots from winning. Yeah. And this is one of those situations where the bug switches immediately from defense to attack. Notice it was defending the black queen from this spot. Now it's attacking the white queen here. And if either one of these spots get filled, the black ant is free to come over and take the kill shot. If white doesn't do something to stop that, the black beetle will just go to here and to here. So it looks like our friend Francesco is not going to win his gold medal this time because it looks like he's going to lose his second game. Plus he's down to only 3 seconds.
Yeah, I think that was definitely a time issue for him, because Francesco, he knows better. I would have thought he sees this kind of, or he recognizes this kind of pattern and knows what it means.
But Kes 777 is a fairly good player as well. He has a BGA ELO of 657.
Interestingly, I have never played against him as far
I
as
never have either. What I do is I always, if you notice, I'll click on Frasco's name here and pull up his information. And I've played him 6 times, all 6 times with both Pillbug, Ladybug, and Mosquito. My record is 4 wins and 2 losses, but I have a -8. I've lost 8 ELO points to Frasco.
Is that a feature you only see as a premium player, or is that, do you know?
Oh, that's my personal note. I just add a personal note to everybody I play against.
Ah, okay.
So every time I play a game, I update the note. So Quadlibet is at 6 points. Kes 777 is at 5. And we've got a group at, well, Indus at 4.5, and a group at 4. So we've got 2 more rounds to go. Let's see what else we've got. We've got one left in progress. And that's our friend Max Sharp. And Max is out of time, so let's see what's going to happen here. There is the white queen. Oh, the white queen's all the way out there. So I think this is going to go down to a time forfeit as well.
Yeah, that's what I don't like about the format of this tournament. If you have a situation like that where it's obviously a draw, and both players are almost out of time, the player with the advantage in time will just move back and forth, and it can be a bit boring, or there's nothing you can do. Because you just have to wait until the time has expired for the complete match.
And that was let's see. Oh no, there's a grasshopper underneath there, so the white beetle can't move.
Yeah, I think white made a mistake here. Yeah, because now the black spider can just move away and trap the white hopper.
So can the black spider 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Nope.
And it gets even worse for black. Not for black, for white. Because what's the next move? That's now is completely a shutout. And that's a win for black. That was probably avoidable. I mean, it obviously white couldn't have won, but at least held a draw when it comes only to just making it through the allocated time for the game. But they played so fast, maybe I have missed something, and it doesn't help that the screen is so super small on my tablet here, because I don't see it full screen. There's only a tiny portion of my tablet which I see like filled with your live stream window. And that's it.
Max did a very good job of shifting things around to allow this ant to come in and take the kill shot.
So does Max win despite having run out of time already?
No, he actually won it. So good game, Max.
So
what he did was he shifted his bugs around so that again, this spot here was protected by a gate. So the black ant out here could not take the kill shot into that spot. So he shifted things around.
I saw that. I was just confused who plays which color.
Oh, okay. So let's hit a refresh there. And round 7 has started. Let's see who Quadlibet is playing. Quadlibet is playing Dial 1257. With 28 players and 8 rounds, you end up, most all the top players are going to play one another at some point. We're going to look at Test 777 against Indus Dust Dust. Indus Dust Dust is Andres Choka from Hungary, and they have kind of unofficially started, if you notice his avatar is the Magyar Hive Club, the Hungarian language Hive Club with a
Oh, I didn't notice that. I saw that he had changed his icon.
With a, I believe that red, white, green is the Hungarian national flag.
Yeah.
And of course, Magyar is the language of Hungary. As typical Americans would call it Hungarian, but it's actually Magyar. Was that a language that you speak any of, Christian?
No, definitely not. I visited Hungary in 1996, and Hungarian is so different than from very different from other Greek, Roman languages. So even though I had for 6 years Latin in school, it didn't help at all because it has no roots in Latin, or I believe it doesn't.
It
I
doesn't.
think it's more even from. I think it's closer to something like Finnish or
It is.
like.
It's a Uralic language from the Urals, and so is Finnish. So you're right. It's closer to Finnish than it is to anything Latin, like the Romance languages, or anything Cyrillic, like the Greek languages.
Yeah. And Hungarian is one of the languages where you see the words and you have no idea how to pronounce them.
So it'll be interesting to see. We are working right now. Laszlo Lacey with 5 5s is his name on board Space Arena. He's also Hungarian, and we are currently working on the possibility of doing a YouTube live stream with a couple of the Magyar speaking players joining in for the Hungarian Hive players. So that will be interesting if we can get that worked out.
So here the response by Black was very interesting. And I think it was a good response because it threatens to pin the white hopper. So in response, the white hopper pinned the black one, but it's not a good pin because it's a pin in an elbow, or it's not a true pin, meaning that if the kill spot to the left of the black queen is filled, it automatically releases the black hopper again, and that's nothing you want to do.
And that's one of the things that beginning Hive players in their evolution as becoming better Hive players, they start recognizing these defensive positions with the 2 grasshoppers. And so, as Christian was saying, if either one of these spots gets filled, it frees up a black grasshopper.
And this is exactly how you can gain tempo as the black player. If both raid, usually the white player will win because he started. But if you have complications like that, and then a kill spot is filled, which releases then one of the defenders, the defender sometimes can jump immediately into a kill spot, and this is where you basically lose tempo as the white player, and then the black player takes over. And with some experience, you know if those things happen, then you are ahead. And as the defender, you are always looking to create those situations where you only need to delay your opponent by one move, and then you can go already on the attack. This is another one, which it's called, again, I think we had that already earlier, a hex trap, which means if the white beetle now moves into that kill spot, it forms a ring, and that means the black grasshopper is freed and can jump over to fill a kill spot. So that wouldn't be a good thing. And to make matters worse, then the ring is broken, and that means that the white beetle is trapped and can't go on top of the black queen.
Exactly.
However, if that would really happen, then the white grasshopper at the top left could jump over to the right and form the ring again. But I'm not sure if that's happening. It becomes a little bit of a messy situation. But it might be an interesting choice for white, actually. Because if white just goes on top of the queen by moving first on top of the white end, it just takes too much time for really no gain. There are no direct drop spots. A direct drop spot is a spot where you can drop a new bug directly into one of the kill spots in one of the places next to your opponent's queen. And since that is not the case, there is not really a benefit to go up unless you play a very long game and you play for control and just want to make sure that you pin the black queen in place, and later on then you can capitalize on that.
So if you were playing this as white, Christian, would you play a defensive? Oh, he went ahead and did the
ring. I actually would probably form the ring as he did. So, and now I would form the ring again by jumping over with a hopper to the top left. That's what I said earlier. Okay, he doesn't do that. I'm not sure if that was the best move. I probably would have played an end because he will need to defend.
Well, that would free the ant. This ant can be used to defend, and then the beetle can move forward.
Yeah, but if white defends, it also takes away from his own advancing to fill all the kill spots. If he defends with a white beetle, he needs to fill 4 kill spots. At the moment, as I see it, if black is just continuing to attack, and yeah, black will make it. Yeah, white will be forced to leap into action with the white end and give up the already filled kill spot, which of course means it's not very efficient. First, you move into that spot because you think like, okay, that's the spot I need to fill to win. But later on, you have to shift that bug and move it into another position. This is something else you try to force because it makes your opponent lose tempo. So instead of just bringing a new bug in and advancing with the plan, you force your opponent to go first to one place and then to release the first pin or to the first position, go to another place, maybe to even the third place, and just keep your opponent busy like that while you yourself bring in more and more pieces. And that can lead to a superiority in material. And then you can just try to flood your opponent with pieces at so much that at one point there aren't enough defenders to defend against all the bugs you flood your opponent with.
So now if the black beetle moves forward, the white grasshopper jumps and the white queen is threatening to move out.
Yeah, so now white has a direct drop spot, which is good. So that way, white can maybe regain some tempo. So it's not as clear as it was or how I thought it was clear a few moves ago. It has become a little bit more complex game. The critical kill spot is, of course, the one they both queens share in the middle. And usually you don't want to fill it too early because it also helps your opponent to make progress. So ideally, you just fill everything else, and only at the end, you just fill that last kill spot, the shared one in the middle.
So does
Yeah,
black bring in? Go ahead.
probably black will just move in with the beetle, looking maybe to advance on top of the hive, also looking for some kill spots, but that can be countered by white. For example, if the black beetle goes on top of the queen, there would be a direct drop spot at the top left of the queen, but white can just shift a bit the white end, just one hex field down, and that would already prevent that from happening. And
so what if black brings in? What if black brings in an? What if black brings in an ant?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, black has to. What else is in reserve? A beetle,
An ant,
and
a
is that
beetle,
a
and a
spider?
spider. Yep.
Yeah, I think now it would be a good time to bring in an ant because it can't be pinned. Okay, that was my first guess what black would do. Probably white brings in now another ant to exactly prevent that the next black ant that will appear on the table.
And white can do it in a direct drop spot right here.
Yes. Yeah, so the black spider will be very difficult to bring into a good position. So that's obviously a forced pin, otherwise black will win if the black beetle is not pinned by the white end. I see. I think black will win because black can form a ring now, and then white is forced to, because white has no option to break the ring, which means then one of the ends will have to repin either probably the black end at the top.
Right. So if the black ant comes up to right here between the two white ants forming the ring, it will free both of these bugs. And the only way that white can keep both of those bugs pinned is to shift
repin,
which opens up the gate.
But that leaves the gate, so the one of the ends can then just slide in for the win.
Right.
Yeah, so it's a forced win, unless I'm overlooking something here. No, I think it's really forced. There's also no way to counterattack. Oh, actually there is. Yes, so the ring is formed. Oh, okay, that's even better. It's not a ring. It's I don't know how to call that, but the black beetle can't be pinned. Yeah, so there are many options how to do that, but yeah, from the moment, I think black saw already the forced win like 3 moves ago, the way he set it up. Yeah, often the sequence in which the new bugs appear is very crucial. And the black beetle just slides in for the win.
So good game, Kes 777. Let's see, he is from Ukraine.
Yeah, I'm impressed. That was a pretty good game. Just showed quite a bit of foresight.
That's 7. Quadlibet won his 7th. Has Quadlibet played Test 777 yet? Let's go back. Quadruped played so far me. Yes, Quadruped has already played Cast 777. So not knowing what the tie breaks are, but if the tie break head-to-head is first tie break, Quadruped just clinched the gold medal. Because the only person that can tie him is Kess 777 if Quadruped loses and they've already played. So let's see if there's any. There's one still going on. Let's open it and see how it's going. The last one in the 7th round. Desperis and Codet and Neon.
Is the white queen covered? Is it underneath the white beetle?
It is. Yeah. So it's underneath the black beetle, grasshopper. Life is almost out of time.
Yeah, it's not a situation I would assess as immediately already clear for one that one of the players will win.
Black can move the beat. Oh, he's got it. Okay.
Because now that black brought in the last beetle, it can only be pinned by one of the white ends, but those ends will have to release one of the black ends. So there can only be like a positional advantage. For example, if the... Yeah, no, that doesn't make sense.
So if this black beetle moves forward, this black beetle is in position to take the...
Yeah, so it's a forced pin. But what can... I thought like the black beetle could be freed immediately, but it actually can't, because if the ring is formed, then the white grasshopper would be free as well and jump out.
But this black beetle moves forward, which frees the grasshopper.
This would be like a good move to prepare. On the other hand, we also need to keep count of how many moves white needs to win, because that was probably only 3 as well.
Well, see, black pinned the spider, because if the spider moved in 1, 2, 3, it would place a block on this spot.
Yeah. Oh, what happened?
Ran out of time. So white won on time.
It was a good end game. Yeah,
these are
white had the mobility advantage, and probably even if black could have forced to fill all the kill spots, white probably could have countered earlier and just won 1 or 2 moves ahead. But it's hard to say. That needs a little bit more thorough investigation.
It's a completely different game when you've got these kind of time frames, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, even for us now that we feel no pressure, it's very hard to familiarize with the situation and like think through all the options. And then of course, if you are playing, you have so much stress, so much pressure for someone who hasn't played a tournament. It's hard to describe. It depends, of course, what kind of player you are, but usually it really clogs your synapses. It's probably not a good, maybe it's a good metaphor. It's not probably how it chemically works, but you really later on you think like, oh, why didn't I play this variant or that variant. You just don't see it. Even the easiest options seem to be not available for you to think about when you are under time pressure or in a tournament situation. Your thinking is so much more limited. You try to really focus, but it just shows the power of mind control. If you are relaxed, how much easier your creativity can flow, and you can come up with good sequences and how you can think in advance. In the Hive tournament on boardspace.net, like the annual championship, the 10 minutes time frame, or 10 minutes more than the other player before you lose, I think it still causes a lot of time pressure, but it leaves you enough to really lean back for a couple of moves and to think things through. While here, I feel it's really just a blitz game.
Yeah, blitz is a really good term here.
30 seconds.
If we're looking at the standings going into the last round, Quadlibet is 7 for 7. Kess 777 is sitting in the silver medal spot with 6 points, and then Frasco, Max Shark, and Sturek are all at 5. Frasco and Max Shark are playing one another, and Sturek is playing Quadlibet. So, do you have a preference as to which one of those you want to see?
I think the one who tie for a medal, that would be probably more interesting.
Frasco and Max Shark, then. Here we go. Wow. Frasco is definitely playing a good job of control here.
Yeah, which is surprising because Max is usually more the player who is predestined for playing control. He most of the time plays control. I haven't seen him very often being very aggressive, at least not as black.
So that defending grasshopper jumped out. One of the other well, white can keep both of them pinned by just shifting the ant pin around. Oh no, he can't, because one or the other of those ants is going to be free.
Yeah. And also, if white would shift the ant pin, it means it wouldn't be a true pin anymore.
Correct. So Christian used the word true pin and false pin. A true pin is when your bug pins an opposing bug against the opposing queen in line. Like this white ant, this black queen are a true pin. This white ant, this black ant, the black queen are a true pin. So
this is a very open game. I think they are really battling for control here. They need to. If any of those two players just starts attacking recklessly without caring about defense, then that player will probably lose, either by being pinned down completely or by being countered.
So the black ant is now free. What can it do beneficially?
I mean, what if black could just jump over with the hopper to free the black ant again? I think that's a move Max is probably looking into in the long run. But he can't wait for that long, because once one more kill spot is filled around the black ant, then the black grasshopper can't jump over, because that would allow white to win immediately. But the grasshopper could also jump to the right of the black queen and just free it. Yeah, so this was a good move by Frasco. Because now if the grasshopper jumps over, the white end can just shift the pin, and then all three, everything is pinned.
Okay. So one or the other of the white beetles is climbing up. But the question will be then, is Francisco running out of bugs?
Yeah, the idea, he took a risk, of course, with his first beetle. The way it was pinned, it's so one black end pins two white bugs, which is efficient for black and not good for white. But once the kill spot to the left of the black queen is filled, then both bugs would be released immediately together. And if that happens, then it's again good for white. So it's kind of a gamble. If black manages to not let that happen, then black has an advantage. But as soon as the kill spot to the left of the black queen is filled, then it quickly can backfire. And they are very powerful bugs because the end obviously has the most mobility, and the beetle can go anywhere and is unstoppable once it's on top of the hive. So I think it was worth the risk. And in the process, white can just cover the black queen and has a direct drop spot, so threaten to fill one of the kill spots immediately next to the black queen.
But the black ant can come over here and...
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so what Max has to do is he has to spend quite some effort to pin, yeah, but it won't work, to pin both of the white bugs he just pinned. Make sure if the kill spot to the left of the black queen is filled, that he has both other white bugs under control. So he will now repin the white beetle by advancing with his black beetle, shifting it right next to his end. And
well,
if then in the
will Frasco now attack with the beetle into this spot now?
Yeah, so it's one move too late, actually. That was the good thing, because it threatens. Max first had to make sure that there's no direct drop spot, which was the bigger threat. I probably would have just dropped down with my beetle to the left, because it releases two bugs and not both can be filled at the same time. Yeah, so because now there is no option to release two bugs at the same time. I mean, you can, but as soon as black shifts his end away, it can repin the white end, which will be freed once the beetle drops down. Yeah, that's another opportunity or option to form that ring. And now we will see the black end moving around the corner, and or actually it doesn't have to repin the white end, but it probably will. No, it doesn't. Interesting. Oh yeah, the reason now that the white beetle can't drop down anymore is because otherwise it would free the black queen.
Mm-hmm.
That was not the case before, but since Frasco opted to jump over with his white hopper and to fill that kill spot. Yeah, I think Frasco lost a little bit the initiative. He has now a drop spot, but a direct drop spot, but therefore his spider can't refill a kill spot. It has just the function to pin down one of the black ends. So, but now, yeah, exactly that happens what you just kind of said is the danger for Frasco. He might run out of bugs. He needs to fill 3 kill spots, and he is lacking already 2. He can only mobilize or drop down with his white beetle, and the other 2 can't be filled. So from here on, it's clear advantage for black. I think a good opportunity would have been to maybe delay the white hopper and drop down with the black with the white beetle to release the other 2 bugs to the left.
Because you would have gotten one or the other of them free.
Yes, and then you would have at least 1 bug more, which is still 1 bug short of winning. Yeah, so Frasco is now, of course, in defense mode. Unfortunately, black has still like another bug in reserve, which gives Max Shark a lot of options, while white can't do much anymore. He needs to keep like the white hopper and the white ant in place, because they swamp the white hopper next to the queen. Swamping means that if one of the kill spots to the left or to the lower right of the white hopper is filled, that white hopper is automatically freed. Or it's not pre-swamping, not swamping. That's the term Joe coined.
So the white ant is pre-swamping the grasshopper so that if either one of these are filled, the grasshopper is swamped and can jump out.
Yeah.
So what bug is underneath there, the grasshopper?
The downside is, of course, that it means those bugs can't go anywhere else. And since the spider is also in a crucial spot, or it needs to be there to pin at least one of the ends, it means Frasco has only his white beetle left to move anywhere. So if Max Shark wanted to really play for control, he could just pin the piece underneath his black beetle, and
Right.
then move all the way across with his black beetle and approach the white beetle, and then cover it. Or if it gets covered, then just doing a move in between and waiting, because then white is in Zugzwang or Bugzwang and needs to move something, and whatever white will move, it will be bad.
So that was I don't see the purpose for that last grasshopper placement by Max.
Yeah, I don't see it either. I think it would have been much easier to really use it as a pin. If the hopper was placed just 1 hex to the left, at least, that would have been better, because it would have been aimed on a kill spot which doesn't free any white bugs. Yeah, it's hard for black to advance in any way.
Yes, because the black beetle can't advance because it would free the white beetle.
Yeah, I think my best bet would have been to pin the piece. Oh, it's a.
Oh, they
Italian.
offered a draw and accepted a draw.
I think my idea probably would have worked if they had more time on their hands.
Yeah. So let's go take a look at the standings, see how many matches are still being played. So Quadlibet won, so he's got the gold medal. Let me send Quadlibet a link to see if he will join us.
do you know about the backstory of Quadlibet's avatar? Because I don't.
Well, do you know what a quadlibet is?
No, I don't.
I looked it up. Quadlibet is a music term. Christian is I think he's a violinist. So I just sent him a link. He said, okay, so he may be joining us. Hope he doesn't have problems like you did. So let's see.
I know the word quadlibet, the term from Latin, in 2 words, and it means something like whatever you like, or however you please. I think that's kind of the translation. Oh,
so there he is. You can ask him yourself.
Hi. Hi, Randy.
Congratulations, Hi, Christian.
Thank you. Thanks.
Well played. We were just talking about your avatar and your name. So can you explain what the picture is you use as your avatar?
Yes, it's the monolith from 2001, the movie.
Ah, really? From that movie? Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
And tell us what a quadlibet is.
Quadlibet is a way to compose music that was used in the Middle Age. It's a pretty free style in those times.
But it's combining of 4 somethings, right?
What? Sorry?
Does it combine 4 somethings? Is that where the word came from?
I think that would be then quad with an A, not with an O.
Oh.
Yeah. Actually, I think Quadlibet is, I think translation of that is so free. Quadlibet. I'm not sure, pero maybe it you can translate to that.
So congratulations on going undefeated today. That's a gold medal.
Thanks,
for
Randy.
you.
Thanks.
So that
I can play in the PLM tournament.
Are you going to play in that one as well?
Oh, sorry. Was there one game which stood out to you, or which one was the hardest?
I think the hardest game I had today was with Frasco, but he had connection issues, and he went over time. But I think that game I was going to lose.
Oh, that's unfortunate then, of course, because that was then probably one of the most important games for both of you.
Yes, I think it was my second game.
Yeah, I was very surprised that 2 of you ended up playing each other that quickly. So
yeah, me too.
I don't think I've ever played Kes 777.
Uh-huh.
Have you played him before?
Oh, yes, I played with him. I think it was the 4th game.
So Mega Mao is.
Oh.
Yep. Jumped in and won. It was a bit of an upset, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go back and look at the standings.
Oh, by the way, Christian, also congrats to your to advancing in the Hive tournament on boardspace.net. That was also
thanks.
big battle.
Thanks. It
was very surprising.
a really my game.
So
Yeah, I
Christian
wouldn't
made a
try it how
comment.
much.
Christian made a comment on the Discord channel that he's glad he's young enough that when his heart was beating 150 beats a minute, it wasn't going to create a heart attack.
Yes.
For a new player, your opponent was very tough, wasn't he?
Yeah, I agree. Business was a really tough opponent, and CG it will be the same probably.
Yeah, Business is also on Board Game Arena, and there he's called the Swarm.
Yeah,
So
I think he has different accounts. I think he's also both Biden too.
Oh, is he vote Biden?
I'm pretty sure that he's both Biden also.
I think he
So he
does
has-
have multiple accounts. When I was sending out information asking for information for the tournament, he asked that I would not reveal his real name. So I promised him he wouldn't. So that was a great tournament here. Quadlibet, our 3-time world champion, has earned himself another gold medal in the Mind Sports Olympiad. Congratulations, Christian.
Thank you.
And we're very happy to have that. And as I mentioned earlier, the Mind Sports Olympiad is being held online again the second year in a row based on the pandemic that's going on. And don't forget, there is a method that you could support the Mind Sports Olympiad. If you go to mindsportsolympiad.com, click on news and scroll down, you'll see you can support the Olympiad. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, you can't spell support without you. So make sure you go on if you can, have an opportunity to support the Mind Sports Olympiad. It's a great event. Been going on for over 20 years, and you may continue following it to see who's the Pentamind champion again this year. I'll pull up one other little quick thing here. Here's a list of the Pentamind champions. Ankush Kandawal, who's won 3 years in a row. Big question, will he win the 4th? And if you look over the last 10 years, between Ankush, James Heppel, and Andres Kuusk, they've won 9 of the last 10 years. Dario Di Topoli won in 2012. Otherwise, those 3 players have been the Pentamind champions for the last 10 years. So congratulations to that group of players. It's always exciting. The Pentamind is a combination of 5 games. You can register to play as many as you want. Your top 5 scores go into counting for your Pentamind score. And of course, the more players that play in a specific game, and the higher you rank in that game, the more points you can get. So that's the way the Pentamind is working. So far, we haven't had any Hive players, any of the top Hive players, because as you can see, both Christians that we have in with us this afternoon are Hive specialists. You do play occasionally other games, but they are among the best in the world. And with Christian Galeas, Quadlibet is the best in the world, 3 years, 3 world championships. So we appreciate having them with us today. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Any final words from you two guys before we close the broadcast?
Yeah, thanks for inviting me, Randy. It was quite a surprise, and I thought I wouldn't make it, but then I woke up at 5:30, and my first thought was, all right, maybe I just go online and check if Randy has sent me a link to join.
And I appreciate that, Christian. I'm glad that you came with us. Of course, Christian lives down in Australia. Are you in Brisbane, are you?
Yeah, in Brisbane.
In Brisbane. And so it's real early tomorrow morning for him. So, and
yeah,
of course,
it's now
both Christians are in the southern hemisphere, so it's winter for you guys, right?
Yeah, but I mean, the Australian winter is on the decline already. During daytime, it can be even quite hot, but at the moment we have like 20-something degrees Celsius. So it's very pleasant, but like 2 weeks back it was a bit chilly, but it's not a comparison to European winters or Siberian winters or whatever. So if it's very cold in Queensland, it goes down to maybe 4 degrees Celsius. I'm not sure what it means in Fahrenheit.
4 degrees is probably around 40, I would guess. I could do my, if I could do my math, I could do my calculations. So I guess we'll be signing off here. I appreciate everybody joining us this afternoon for this event from the Mind Sports Olympiad. Please follow along the Mind Sports Olympiad. There'll be other games and other competitions broadcast on their Facebook page, also on the Twitch page at Board Game Arena. Quite a few of the online tournaments are being held at Board Game Arena this year, as they were last year. So thanks again to Eitan for inviting me to join in this afternoon. And we appreciate both Christians joining us as well. Congratulations again to Quadlibet Christian Galeas for his championship again. So this is Randy Ingersoll signing off. Until next time, be watching. There will be later on in the month, we will be having the real Hive tournament, the tournament Hive with all 3 expansions. That's what's played by most of the top players, and we'll see if Christian can win a 2nd gold medal in that as well. I'm sure he'll be playing, although he's concentrating also on the World Championship. He's into the quarterfinals there as well. So until next time, this is Randy Ingersoll signing off. Thanks again for watching.